Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Yas Marina and the Radical World Finals. It's time to go racing once again. This is Heat 2. Of course, this morning we started with a fantastic race 1, and that was won by Alim Jasev. And in the Platinum class, second in Platinum was Oscar Joyce. Greg Gorski taking third. In Pro 1500, Usman Magal was on top. Alongside him was Ian Aguilera, and Christian Brooks was also on the podium for Pro 1500. And it was a Canadian 1, 2 and 3 in Pro 1340. Robert Burgess took the win, Eric Andrews in second place, and John Hughes in third. And we've just had a car pushed off the grid, as you can see, but otherwise all competitors down in formation and behind the Camaro safety car. So we'll try and take you quickly through the grid for this one. We started with 32 cars. I think we're down to 31. Perhaps car 5, Johnny Kazoum, will start from the pit lane. But in row 16, it's Sebastian Murray alongside Jahid Karim. In row 15, Rick Parrish will start from position 20th on the grid alongside John Hughes. Eric Andrews will start alongside the pole sitter in Pro 1340. That's Robert Burgess. From 26 on the grid, Marcel Kopp alongside Jordan Missig, who certainly has plenty of work to do. Missig with some issues in race 1 and starts with a brand new chassis for the 48. The 111 of Lee Jackson will start from row 12. Alongside him, it'll be David Evans from 23rd on the grid. From 22nd, Alexander Novikov alongside Jacopo Fascioni in car 50. Row 10 is George Harding with Julian Monet alongside him. From 18th on the grid, Rob Greenwood. And in 17th, it's Joel Strider. Banksy will start alongside Sahid Almori in 15th on the grid. Amir Fazulin, look out for the number 15. He should be charging hard. Ibi Hadid will start alongside him. Suelio Almeida, another honorary Canadian at least. He's a Brazilian that resides in Canada. The 333 was also racy. He'll start alongside Johnny Kazoum if he can get going and return to the grid. Fujinami will start from 10th. In 9th, it's Andy Lowe, who said he had a bit of an issue in race 1. Chris Preen will start from row 4 alongside Jack Yang. Greg Gorski, who he was just riding on board with a couple of moments ago, the 24 machine, will start from 6th. And Christian Brooks will be next to him. Usman Magal, who was winner in Pro 1500 earlier today, will start from 4th. Ian Aguilera was quicker though, will start from 3rd on the grid. The front row is the fastest of the 2 Platinum class cars. That's Oscar Joyce, and Alim Gashiv will start from the pole. And joining me is Chris Milbourne once again. And Chris, race 1 certainly provided some action. Qualifying, of course, we saw a few issues and a bit of commotion too. Under the lights here, new conditions. The track surface is possibly getting a little cooler. Certainly the sunshine and the heat has calmed a little bit here at Yas Marina. So different conditions and new chances for drivers out there this evening.
And like you said, it's a completely new challenge here for these drivers, because we're racing under lights, but a lot of the cars will have lights on the front of the cars here. There'll be a lot more flashing going on. We've got a lot of quicker cars that are further up through the field this time round that made it out on time. So Oscar Joyce will take up his grid position next to race 1 winner Alim Gashev. And this is where we're going to see Alim really have to fight hard. He did his very best to keep championship rival the Gulf Radical Cup behind him in this Radical World Finals race number 1. But what can he do through race number 2? This is, like you said, Tom, this is a completely different situation. The conditions are different. Who's starting around Alim is different. We're now working our way, a rolling start through And underneath the W Hotel Bridge, picturesque location here. The sun is setting here at the Yas Marina circuit. We're in the golden hour, and it's about to go green here once again. This is going to be an epic race.
And look out for the 24 of Greg Gorski. Of course, will be bringing some onboard vision from him. You can see the 24 sitting back with the lights ablaze on that third row of the grid. Watch for that SR10 to come charging through the front runners of Pro 1500. They're jockeying for position. Ian Aguilera is looking particularly racy alongside Usman Miguel, and we're about to go green here. Very, very slow as they come around to take the green. Race 2 is underway for the Radical World Finals at Yas Marina.
Now that's a very interesting way for Usman Miguel to start that race. He was very far off to the right-hand side of the track, up almost against the wall. And speaking to actually him and Ian Aguilera, it's very funny. The two of them both said, well, you're fast. I was surprised that you were that quick. As we've got cars off into the wall. No, that's the 67. He just keeps it off. And that is one of our two Japanese drivers.
That's Fujinami. So he hasn't survived turn 1, lap 1. And frustration there, I think, for some of the drivers. It was very slow. You could see Greg Gorski actually got balked, and perhaps it started in the wrong gear. But a lot of the 1500 started swarming around each other as they went into turn 1 for the first time. A little bit cleaner as they head down the straightaway for the first time. And 3, 4, 5 wide, as we've come to expect from the Radical Series and the Radical World Finals.
And we've got a good fight on hands here between Ian Aguilera and Usman Miguel, who looks on the inside of turn 5. Can he take the move away? No, he can't. As Ian Aguilera goes around the outside and has the inside line for turn 6. We're trying to go 3, 4 wide, a little bit further back. There's Ibi Hadid stuck in the thick of things right there as well. And you saw how quick those SR10s are. And we have a safety car. Safety car has come out. Yellow flag at turn 1.
So Oscar Joyce was looking rather racy on that opening tour until the race was neutralized, but Alim Jashev has managed to convert his pole position into an early race lead, and he'll be relaxing now. You can see the cars just trying to maintain a little bit of temperature in the Hankook rubber, and the safety car is out on the course.
Ready to pick up the field through turn 16. Very interesting style there from Greg Gorski, Tom, like you said. He sort of had that gear shift, he kind of dropped back and got swarmed by the 1500s, and he doesn't have that same quick getaway that the other SR10s have, because both of them are on the front row of the grid. Greg Gorski started on row number 3, so he was surrounded by 1500s. There we are on board with him right now as he works his way underneath the hotel, and he will make his way through turn 15. And you can see now he's got Ian Aguilera, he's got Usman Miguel, and he has Christian Brooks in front of him. He's got 3 other cars in front of him that are not in his class. That's going to impede him here on this restart.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple of others in the mix there as well, or certainly were on that opening lap. It looks like he went a long way back. Luckily for him, a long straightaway before the safety car was deployed. So I think he got back a couple of positions, but a disastrous start for him. Meanwhile, further back in the pack, Jordan Missig's made his way up through a couple of, or more than a couple of folks. Jordan Missig's now running 14th outright. Suelio Almeida has dropped down the order in that opening lap. He's running 18th.
Good to see Johnny Kazoon back out on track as well with issues in race 1. He is currently in 11th position. He's not moved up. Yol Strider, though, a great opening lap from him up into 12th place. Jordan Missig, as Tom mentioned before, Rob Greenwood, Jacopinto Faccioni, George Harding have all moved up. David Evans, Sebastian Murray, who had issues on lap 1, did the 91 car up into 21st. Marcel Kopp, Rick Parrish, Robert Burgess, John Hughes, Yahid Kardim, all moving up. Alexander Nochikov did not go through sector 2 by the looks of it, and has had further issues with the car. He had a blown engine in qualifying, which we thought he would not make the race start. The team did a massive job on that car, got it ready. We saw him out. He was circling at the end of the field, and it's a real shame we're not going to see the best of him today, because he's very quick. And of course today we say happy birthday to Alexander Nochikov. He's got a massive fan base here as well, but unfortunately this day is a day to forget for him.
We're just riding on board our other camera, Suelio Almeida, who, so a couple of drivers from the North American Championship with the onboard cameras this evening. And both drivers, good selection by the film crew, because Suelio Almeida showed plenty of pace earlier today. So too with Greg Gorski. We'll see undoubtedly both gentlemen charging up through this field. I was just looking a little bit further back to the Pro 1340 battle, and Robert Burgess once again is in the lead of that class. John Hughes has slotted into second place because Sonny Andrews, Eric Andrews, has fallen back on that opening lap. So you could see some of the cars really, it was almost like a traffic jam down into the chicane for the first time. And no doubt a few drivers just choosing to be careful. A long weekend, and of course everything to play for tomorrow afternoon for the winner takes all Radical World Finals, the third World Final. And it's been a fantastic run of events. Las Vegas, Portimao, and now this stunning circuit at Yas Marina.
And of course, in the mix with the Radical World Finals, there's a lot of our drivers who race here locally in the Golf Radical Cup, including the race leader, Lim Geshev, Ian Aguilera, also a series regular, Usman Magal, Greg Gorski has appeared from time to time, but he's not a real regular, Mir Faisalin, Johnny Kazoum, Yol Strider, Ibi Hadid, number 18, Jack Yang, Marcel Kopp, Yahid Khardim as well. It's great to see local talent take part in what is the biggest radical race of the calendar of the year. We've already done one heat race, which is absolutely phenomenal this morning. Here we are for race number 2, and it's just as exciting as it was before. Probably not the way we wanted to start it, and we actually thought that's how race 1 was going to start. We thought incident through turn 1, but we went through very cleanly through the first race. But here we are at race number 2, and Tom, as you said before, it's all to play for today because there are no points, despite here running in the United Arab Emirates as the green flag waves here. The restart underway for Lim Geshev, Oscar Joyce, Ian Aguilera, our top 3. Now, even though we're holding this championship right here in the United Arab Emirates, it does not count as points to the Golf Radical Cup. So a lot of drivers who are participating here, this is for bragging rights. This is to show they are quick. This is to show on the global stage that they are real radical drivers.
And we just saw a little bit of debris there getting flicked up by one of the cars, so someone's lost a piece of bodywork out there. Meanwhile, keep your eyes on Jack Yang. The 33 car has charged hard. He'll be one to watch for. What can he do with Christian Brooks? You can see further back, I think that might have been Jordan Missig. It indeed was. The 48 machine charges hard. We now ride on board with Mr. Greg Gorski, Mr. Smoke Buddy from the US of A. And Greg loves his motorsport, has driven over here in the UAE, both in GT cars as well as radicals. And Jordan Missig again goes through to the inside, and look at this tussle. Missig at the front of this pack. You can just see that black and orange car, a new chassis for him in race 2. And the Graham Rahal Performance Radical Indianapolis crew doing a stellar job to convert springs, bars, dampers, bits of bodywork over to the new chassis to prepare Jordan for this one. He's also, interestingly enough, gone from a left-hand drive car to a right-hand drive car for this one.
So that's an interesting piece of information that you saw from one side to the other. There's something else I noticed on the restart. Now, Sebastian Murray and David Evans swapped positions when they came across the line. Now, of course, behind the safety car, you can't overtake, but nothing has popped up on a screen. But I just noticed that Seb Murray has gone up a position. And also going back to it, we can see how much is on the line here, how much the Radical World Finals means to these Radical drivers. They are throwing each and everything they can, anywhere they can, and they're pushing each other wide. They're trying to go 3 wide into some very tough corners. And, well, it looks like Greg Gorski has found a way up into the top 3, passing Ian Aguilera, Usman Magal, Christian Brooks, and Jack Yang all on that there. And a very quick Sector 3 time of 43.367 for Greg Gorski.
Greg Gorski's had plenty of pace this weekend. It really has been a case of putting the laps together, and so many drivers have said the traffic has played a role, just trying to find a clean piece of a bit of fresh air around this circuit, with 33 cars or 32 cars taking the green in this one. And we could see a little bit of a reaction further back there in shot, a bit of avoiding action. it doesn't matter where you are in this field, you're racing hard and fast. And the 21, that's
Usman Magal with championship protagonist in the Golf Radical Cup, Ian Aguilera, battling out here. Interesting to speak to both of them before the podium presentation. Both said they thought they were quicker than each other, but that came from the others' mouths, and it was interesting to see because in Golf Radical Cup, Ian Aguilera has been the quickest throughout. But this weekend, Usman Magal, despite not having the same car that he's racing, he's actually racing in last year's car. He's actually quicker in the Radical World Finals than he has been in the Golf Radical Cup. And he was very happy to be on that top step of the podium in the Pro 1500 category, and he's going to fight tooth and nail to walk away with another victory again. I've also noticed on our timing screen, Alexander Nochikov has got out on track, but he's not come through yet, so the team have done a fantastic job to get that car back together. Fujinami as well, the driver who went off in turn 1 on lap 1, has got back going again and is now up to 23rd.
So we're right on board once again with Greg Gorski. 425 brake horsepower, 380 foot-pounds of torque from the Radical engine. It's a Ford EcoBoost derived engine, but completely rebuilt by Radical, and you can see the car just sliding around there on screen. That's Alim Joseph, and Oscar Joyce is trying to hunt him down. It's a three-way fight. There's a little bit of time between each car, but there certainly isn't in this Pro 1500 battle. And again, Jordan Missick making the most of the new chassis, carving his way up through the field. So Missick's up to 12th. He's claiming another victim.
And that was Johnny Kazum on the inside that he took that place away from. So Missick moves up yet again, moving his way closer to the top 10. Next target is Amir Faizdin, but Johnny Kazum is going to fight back. Now remember, Kazum wants a little bit of redemption of what happened in race number 1, where he was collected by a very fast Greg Gorski. The two did have a conversation afterwards about it, and it looks like he's taking the position back, but Jordan is fighting back through turn 5, and he's going to make the move stick this time round, as unfortunately Lebanon's Johnny Kazum just not enough room to squeeze through.
Well, you could see how aggressive Jordan Missick was on the brakes immediately as Kazum went past. Missick ducked to the inside. Missick determined to make his way up. He doesn't seem to have the straight line speed though, does he? He's certainly stronger under brakes, and Missick again to the inside and makes the 48 stick around the inside. We saw that in race 1 as well. The inside line working very, very well for the car making the pass. And now Missick with a little bit of clean air and will knuckle down to head towards Amir Faizullin and Chris Preen, the next drivers a little bit further up the road.
Greg Gorski's just on the quickest lap here, a 1:55.520. Looking a little bit further back through the timing screens, I'm looking at 32nd place, Alexander Nochikov, the driver who did not make the start. He's had a tumultuous weekend here. He's done a 2:02.915. That would have put him up into the top 15, if not higher, if this was qualifying, and he'd certainly be vying for position. He was very quick when he made his debut 2 weeks ago in the Golf Radical Cup, and he's been quick this weekend, but he's just not had the car underneath him. Well, I say car underneath him, but he's just not had any luck with the car underneath him. Julien Monet moves up into 11th position. Sebastian Murray, Sohail Almeida also moving up into the top 15. Rob Greenwood going the wrong direction, unfortunately, up into 16th position. Then we have David Evans, who's lost out as well on this lap.
Possibly we'll get a look from inside the cockpit on Sohail Almeida's car. You can just see him join that shot a little bit further back. So there's Jordan Missick, and he has checked out on Johnny Kazum.
He's definitely put a gap between himself and the Lebanese driver there, and you see that battle closing in behind them as well.
But you mentioned before, there's just so many drivers that could win this race and could win the title, the Radical World Finals. And you know, I've got to say, based on this week's performance, my money is on Jack Yang. He sits 7th overall at the moment. He sits 3rd in class, or sorry, 4th in class. But Jack Yang has been ultra quick. spent a lot of time at Monticello Motor Club in New York in the week leading up to the World Finals, testing everything with his American team, Group A Racing, and then has jumped on the plane with driver coach Bobby Thompson and is out here racing with Valor Racing. And I believe he might do a couple of the other rounds in the Golf Cup.
Now that's something interesting. Now, how would a driver adapt from coming over from the United States? And you're saying it's quite close because a number of the drivers have been around here already. They've been here for the past 2 weeks, or at least the past week. Their bodies are kind of adjusted to the time frame. But how would Jack Yang do this and still be quick? Because obviously that's a big time difference between the two of us. It's what, 11 hours behind us at the moment, so it's basically morning for him where the sun is setting. His body must be going, what are you doing? Why are we doing this now? But there he is in 7th position, and he's holding his own. Jack
Yang, I think, has got well used to this by now. He also races in the Haggerty Radical Cup United Kingdom Series, as we just see a pass there. And so some more action unfolding. Drivers seem to have settled down a little bit. There's Greg Gorski chasing down Oscar Joyce. And Gorski's certainly putting in some good lap times. A 1:55.8 was his last time by. It was 1/10 quicker than Oscar Joyce. Alim Jashev is running in the 1:54s. So certainly Joyce and Gorski have some work to do over this weekend if they want to catch the 77, who at the moment you'd have to say looks set to take the World Finals in the Platinum class.
And things are getting very interesting down towards the tail end of the field there. It was very close with David Evans, Yahid Carter, Emily Jackson and Marcel Kopp all batting for position there. They were very close through turn 5. I don't know how they managed to get through it like that. And that was Marcel Kopp who also came in contact. We're going 2 and possibly 3 wide here.
Further back, yeah, that's John Hughes coming through. The Canadian, and the Canadians battling. That's 1, 2 and 3, so it looks to me like Hughes has passed. Robert Burgess just behind him should be the other Canadian of Eric Andrews, although it looks to me like he might have got ahead. So we'll wait and see as the timing screen catches up with some of the action around the circuit.
Suelio Almeida moves up a position, up now into 14th overall. Drops Joel Strider from one timing screen to the next. The 99 falls down the order, although he did have a personal best through sector 3 that time round. Turn 1, lap 1 incident is under investigation, so there was more at play than what we saw. We saw the tail end of it when Fujinami was into the wall at turn 1, but it looks like the stewards have seen something that we didn't see here. That's Ian Aguilera, and that is Usman Magal, the two that are battling out for the top honours in Pro 1500. They are scrapping out here. Ian Aguilera was second in race 1 of the Radical World Finals earlier today in the heat race. This time he wants to be on the top step of the podium, but Usman Magal is not going to make it easy for him whatsoever. And well, look who's lurking in the background, Christian Brooks, who was also on the podium with them. He would like to be one step higher this time because he was 3rd last time, and he's just done a personal best of a 1:58.729, and he's gone green through sector 2, but as has Ian Aguilera.
It looks to me like for a lot of these drivers, the Hankook rubber is starting to really come alive. All of a sudden, there's green sectors. We haven't seen a purple sector for a while, but certainly the green sectors are starting to light up the timing charts. Drivers getting into their groove and finding themselves in these slightly cooler conditions under the lights here at Yas Marina. What a stunning sight. 32 Radicals taking the green yet again, and Suelio Almeida now applying all sorts of pressure. And
to the back of Johnny Kazoum there in the number 5. The driver from Lebanon, as we said, didn't have a great heat race number 1, but is certainly trying to stay within the top 15 this time round. There is the race leader, Alim Gashev, 5.3 seconds up the road in a new car this weekend. And Tom, you were saying, where are the purple sectors? Well, Alim just delivered one up there for us with a 24.343. He's getting quicker, and look at this. This is on board with Suelio Almeida, right tucked in behind Johnny Kazoum, later on the brakes there to try and tuck in behind him, picks up the toe, up through turn 1. Will wake his way through the S's.
Now, if there's one thing we learned in the Radical Cup North America Series, it's how good Suelio Almeida, the sim racer come real world superstar, is under brakes. So we'll wait and see if he makes a late lunge down into this heavy braking zone here into turn 5.
Sebastian Murray works his way up now. He's approaching the top 10. He's in 11th position at the moment. A last-minute call-up and a last-minute addition here to the Radical World Finals. So Sebastian Murray put it on pole position earlier today in his class. Back on board with this battle, though, with Almeida and Kazum. We're working our way towards one of the hot spots here, but the 333 decides it will try around the outside and stay behind the number 5 here of Johnny Kazum, but looks to the inside. That's a much wider exit, much earlier on the power. Here we go, side by side. Left-hand side there was Johnny Kazum. Now it's the right-hand side of your pictures. Let's go down towards turn 9, side by side. If only the timing screen there wasn't in the way, we would see a bit more of Kazum. And this is going to be one epic turn 9, but Kazum has the inside, but Almeida will race him all the way out.
For the first time, you saw an outside pass there, down around the carousel, and everyone else has managed to make the inside stick. Not so when it comes to the young gun, the superstar, Suelio Almeida. He's put everything he's learned on the sim into practice. You can follow along his fantastic journey through this year's Radical Cup North America Series on YouTube. And it was a great battle he had right down to the wire to win the championship in Pro 1340. This is the first time he's driven a Pro 1500 car, the same chassis, just a slightly different engine. 1500 cc's as opposed to 1340 cc's, but he's putting that extra power to full effect. You see him just struggling a little bit to pick up the power through turn 1, carried plenty of speed through, catching the rear end as they went through. And the battle continues to rage in Pro 1340. 2 Canadians duking it out.
And Sebastian Murray has officially broken the top 10 after starting way down in the order. He's methodically carved his way through and up into that top 10 position. I can imagine Dad, Kenny Murray, who's racing tomorrow, will be very happy about seeing his son racing here. We're on board now with Greg Gorski.
I'll tell you what, Greg Gorski's closed in on Oscar Joyce. So while Jashev has checked out, the battle is on for P2 in the Platinum class. Greg Gorski, with the bit between his teeth, is starting to really hone in on the gearbox of Oscar Joyce. Joyce, this is his first time in the higher horsepower Radical machinery. He's certainly taken to it well after a little bit of a frustrating practice session, just getting used to applying the power in a turbocharged car. You, of course, can't afford to back out of the throttle. You've got to keep the boost up. Greg Gorski knows these cars extremely well. He's a front runner in the Radical Cup North America Series and no stranger to the podium during the World Finals. In fact, he won a heat race at Portimao, came 3rd in the final there as well last year, and he's looking for a chance at the top step of the podium come tomorrow evening. Right now, it's for bragging rights in this sprint race, a heat race that will help decide the grid for the final, and back markers are already playing a role in this race, so that'll be interesting. That's John Hughes, one of the Canadians. So he was actually running 2nd, I believe, in Pro 1340. He's actually dropped down to 3rd now, so Sonny Andrews is coming 2nd in that class behind Robert Burgess. But all of a sudden, Oscar Joyce will have to deal with the guys a little bit slower in the pack, as well as a hard-charging Greg Gorski, and you can see Joyce really defending hard.
I've seen Sebastian Murray's got another position, so has Chris Preed as well. Now 8th and 9th respectively, drops Andrew Lowe a position down. And was that someone off track in the background? I'm not sure.
No, well, that was young Oscar Joyce making a mistake. He ran wide. Greg Gorski's closer than ever. He couldn't quite capitalize on that mistake from Joyce, but it certainly allowed him to apply even more pressure to the young gun from England. And Joyce now with plenty of work to do if he wants to stay P2 in the Platinum class. This is a fantastic battle as they approach John Hughes.
1:15 left on the clock, not too much time left for Greg Gorski to make a move and for Oscar Joyce as well to defend. As now back markers, as Tom said before, playing a real key role in Greg Gorski getting closer to the back bumper of Oscar Joyce. And Oscar's got to be very, very careful. Greg Gorski has not been closer. Yellow flag between 5 and 6. Someone has gone off, and that is an overtaking opportunity gone. And that is actually the back straight that has the yellow flag, but that's quickly been receded, so no more yellow flag down there, which is good news for Greg Gorski. There is the leader, though, in 1500, or Pro 1500, Ian Aguilera from Usman Magal, who leads him by just 1.3 seconds to the good.
This has been a spectacular drive by Ian Aguilera. What a stunning one. He's managed to just soak up all the pressure. Usman Magal has certainly applied a fair amount of it. And Ian Aguilera with some solid lap times as well, and we'll have to have a look at those because that's going to be critical to the starting positions for tomorrow's race. At the moment, it's Usman Magal who would be on the pole, I believe, in Pro 1500. So with every lap, it's not just about track position, it's not just about taking the race win. You've got to think about the next one and make sure you're churning out an appropriate lap time to put you further up the grid. Behind them, Christian Brooks has also had a fantastic race. And it looks to me like the timing is down to 0. We're waiting to pick up the leaders.
And I think it was the Banksy car that was the reason why the yellows. But Alim Gashev will make it 2 for 2 here at the Yas Marina Circuit in the Radical World Finals. He's going to be absolutely delighted to walk away with not 1, but 2 victories here as he collects the checkered flag. Alim Gashev does it. 2 for 2, what a way to end the day. Oscar Joyce will just beat out Greg Gorski by 0.5 of a second at the line. What a drive there from Greg Gorski, but also from Oscar Joyce to carve his way through the field and keep Greg Gorski behind him. Now then for the 1500s, it's 1.2 seconds separating Ian Aguilera and Usman Magal. We don't see them on screen right now, but Ian Aguilera working his way through turn 16, and actually the top 3 in Pro 1500 will come across the line at the same time. Ian Aguilera wins from Usman Magal by just over a second. I think it's 1.5 seconds separated between the two of them. Magal second, and there, Christian Brooks will take 3rd at the line, but still, we have the Pro 1340 category to go.
Yeah, absolutely, and actually, because they were lapped a little bit earlier, it's Robert Burgess who's taken his 2nd win of the weekend here at Yas Marina in the Pro 1340 class. Eric Sonny Andrews takes another 2nd place. John Hughes 3rd in Pro 1340. A fantastic drive too from Christian Brooks, Jack Yang, Sebastian Murray, Chris Preen, Andrew Lowe. So plenty of fast drivers up towards the pointy end of that Pro 1500 field. And it's going to come down to the wire here. Of course, a winner takes all final. These races, certainly for bragging rights, but also to set the grid for that grand finale tomorrow evening. And Greg Gorski waving to a couple of folks in the crowd. 2nd place in the Platinum class. But a fantastic run for him. And great to see some of that onboard action from these 425 brake horsepower machines.
It makes it more immersive, right? It really puts us into the driving seat. Yes, we're not exactly where the driver is, however, it gives us that feeling. You can really see how hard they are working with the steering wheel, left, right, but even on the straightaway, they have to fine-tune where they're going. The same with their leg movements. You can see how early they're on the power and how early they're on the brakes as well. But what a fantastic heat race number 2 it has been. Of course, we'll check out some highlights, but before we will also have the podium presentation as well for the Radical World Finals. Heat race number 2. What a fantastic race it's been, especially for our local drivers here who raced in the Gulf Radical Cup. Alim Gashev has made it 2 for 2 here. What a fantastic day it has been for Alim. He was absolutely delighted when he came to the track. Big smile on his face, and I can imagine when that helmet comes off, it's going to be quite hard to pry it off his head. I think his smile is going to be even bigger than it usually is. He'll be absolutely delighted to walk away with 2 victories here here, especially being the likes of Oscar Joyce and Greg Gorski, two men that know this Radical car very, very well, because Alim Gashev, mind you, only got the car for this weekend. This is his first race with this car. 2 weeks ago in the Gulf Radical Cup, he was racing a completely different car. This weekend, though, he's in the SR10, and he says it's an absolute dream to drive. There is Alim Gashev, fist pump in the air, and he'll be absolutely delighted with that. No doubt Sarah is down in the pit lane and will try and get an interview with the race winner as well, as he runs over to the family, to his wife and child there. Very, very happy there with the result. There is his son as the other drivers come off and over to congratulate him there for his epic job there. Another victory for Alim Gashev, and a fantastic drive, to say the least. The right-hand side there, you see Greg Gorski hop out of the third place car, and then on the left-hand side there is Oscar Joyce. Now, interesting enough, remember, in race number 1, we had that man right there, Usman Magal, was on the right-hand side. This time, though, he has to slot in behind them because he's not the winner in Pro 1500. He is second. Ian Aguilera takes that place away, with Christian Brooks taking third. There is Greg Gorski. Always a character, always great to have him around as well. He's always very excited to be here and racing here. And like Tom said before, he does have experience racing here at the Yas Marina circuit. We've seen him a number of times in various endurance races as the drivers are preparing for their mandatory weigh-in as well. But that brings an end to heat race number 2, and what a race it's been as well. We look forward to more racing, Tom, tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. Race 3 tomorrow will feature a mandatory pit stop, and then it's one more, the winner-takes-all final, and that is going to be spectacular tomorrow afternoon. These finishing positions, the points will be tallied, so it's very, very important that all the drivers have a consistent weekend if they want to be starting up the pointy end of the field and on the grid for that World Finals event. Of course, for now, though, it's time to celebrate the winners in race 2, heat number 2, and I'll certainly head down to the podium to do that shortly.
I think Sarah's got Oscar Joyce there. She is waiting for him. So let's throw it down to Sarah, who's got our second place finisher, Oscar Joyce.
Yes, I'm here with Oscar. You've had a really great day and you've just finished in P2. How have you found it personally?
Yeah, good. I think I struggled a bit with the tyres then, but you know, we made the most of it. Good points, so just being consistent, and especially with earlier getting through to second as well will help for our overall starting position. But yeah, no, really enjoyable, great track and great event, so yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about what you mean by struggling with the tyres.
Especially with the 10, because of the extra weight on the front of the car, especially when you load it up. There's like a certain grip curve, and if you don't rotate it quick enough, it seems to really struggle to get around the corner, and almost you create understeer. So yeah, that's what I was struggling with then, but I'm sure we will be back tomorrow and fighting again.
Is there anything you've learned from today that you're going to do with changing your setup for tomorrow?
Possibly, but that would be telling, so there we go.
Cool, well, good luck tomorrow, and thank you for having a chat.
Always got to keep the secrets close to you. You don't want to reveal any information to the other drivers who are listening around the track or in close proximity. Thank you so much, Sarah, there for the insights here. But let's talk to race winner, Alim Gashev.
Hi, Alim. Congratulations. How was that race for you? That's 2 wins out of 2 today.
It wasn't easy. The first race with safety cars, and second race we have some technical issues on the start. But everything went well, and he won. Thank you very much, competitors. Is very, very tough guys. Yeah, and thank you for my very big fan, my son Platon, who is here. Yeah, and my wife Elmira. Thank you very much for supporting me.
I was going to ask you about your son. There was a very sweet encounter as soon as you got out of the car. What was he saying to you?
He congratulated me, and he told that I should bring one more P1, at least.
Oh, that's very sweet. Is he, are you his aspiration? Do you think he'll get into motorsport?
Yeah, for sure.
Is he karting already?
Not yet. he's too small, but maybe next year.
Congratulations and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Very modest there with his answer, saying had a few issues here and there with his car, but a job well done for Alim Gushev. He makes it 2 for 2 here. A fantastic job from him as well, in a car that he hasn't really driven that much, to be honest. He 2 weeks ago, he was in a completely different car. Now he's in the very rapid SR10, and he's done a phenomenal job here. Let's see if he can do it tomorrow all again in that longer race that we have earlier on, because we're actually going to start much earlier tomorrow as well, because we have a 45-minute race with that mandatory pit stop, which will be a rolling start. Pit lane will open at 10 o'clock, so you can, of course, join us live on the live stream for that. And that's going to be a very exciting one. But I think before we have the podium presentation, we can check out some highlights. Sarah, though, beforehand, has got another interview here with Ian Aguilera.
I'm here with Ian. Congratulations, you won in your class. How was that race for you?
It was a very tough race. I had pressure from Usman throughout the whole race, so I couldn't afford to make any mistakes, but it was the result we wanted at the end, so really happy with the result and really happy with all the effort the team's put in, and my manager Nick and my dad. So I'm really happy with the result, and hopefully we can do the same tomorrow.
And what's the plan tonight? Are you going to change anything? What are you going to do to rest and recover?
I think we'll go through some stuff because there's always room for improvement, but I'm pretty happy with the car and stuff. We'll just have to set up for a longer race for tomorrow, and hopefully it goes well.
I hope it goes well for you too.
Thank you.
Now, I wonder if Sarah can go just a bit further back there and put the microphone between Alim Gushev and Usman Magar to see what those two were talking about behind Ian Aguilera there. But a fantastic job there from Ian to take the victory in Pro 1500, and the other two are there that were talking before. Usman Magal, race winner in race number 1 for Pro 1500. This time he'll be second at the line. Then Alim Gushev is there on the right-hand side, of course, race winner 2 times today. And it looks like we won't get to have a chat with them as they have to come upstairs for the podium presentation. There you can see Rick Parrish on the right-hand side talking to the other drivers here, of course, having a quick chat with them to, well, talk about how fantastic this race has been. It's been a phenomenal day of racing here at the Yas Marina circuit, specifically in the Radical World Finals. 2 races have delivered some absolute cracking racing here with Alim Gushev winning both races, but we do have a different race winner this time round in the Pro 1500. And, well, now it's time to check out some highlights before we go to the podium. So let's have a recap of race 2 of the Radical World Finals.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're joined once again up here on the podium for the Radical World Finals presented by Kinetic 7. And it's fantastic to be joined up here by Sonny, the CEO of Kinetic 7, who will be presenting the trophies. We'll start, as we often do, with the Pro 1340 class. Congratulations. Third in Heat 2, John Hughes. John Hughes taking another podium presentation, or podium for Canada. In fact, it was a Canada 1, 2, and 3. In second place, congratulations, Sonny Andrews. Both John and Sonny from the west coast of Canada, Area 27. And whilst there was a little bit of jockeying for position, he came out on top once again. Congratulations, the winner in Pro 1340, Robert Burgess.
Thanks, mate.
Robert Burgess, a long-time competitor in Radicals, but more importantly, a dealer from Canada East, and has developed a very strong series on the east coast of Canada. In fact, so too has John Hughes. Congratulations, gentlemen. Those trophies at chest height and nice and high. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give these guys a big round of applause. Pro 1500 was a fantastic battle this evening. In third place, congratulations, Christian Brooks. Christian racing for Valor Racing and taking a fantastic podium here this evening. In second place, Usman Mughal. The Pakistani driver was on top earlier today, takes another podium and collects plenty of valuable points, which of course will help determine the grid for the final tomorrow. And taking the win, congratulations, Ian Aguilera. Raw Motorsports represented on top of the podium here at the Radical World Finals at Yas Marina. A number of drivers in Pro 1500 are vying for the outright win tomorrow afternoon. But right now, let's celebrate once again. Ian Aguilera taking the win in Heat 2. The paparazzi's just taking a couple of photographs. And we'll move on to the Platinum class. It was a great fight for second place. Another charge through the field for this man. He couldn't quite do it, came home with third. Greg Gorski on the podium. And we were riding on board with Greg Gorski in that race. A fight right down to the wire with this young man taking second, Oscar Joyce. Congratulations, Oscar. Typically has driven SR1, SR3 machinery, now stepping up to the high horsepower SR10s and certainly handling it well. But this next man is handling it better than most. Alim Geshev has taken another win. He has been a class act so far. Congratulations. 2 for 2. The 77. Geshev is looking set to put it on the pole for the final. We can see if the other two men on the podium can do anything about the 77. Congratulations, Alim Geshev, a big round of applause. Taking another win at the Radical World Finals. And the paparazzi just trying to get at the driver's attentions. Gentlemen, those trophies once again, nice and high. So 2 heat races down, 1 more to go. A mandatory pit stop tomorrow morning, and then it's the winner takes all final. The competition is heating up here at Yas Marina, and the Radical World Finals presented by Kinetic 7 is down to 1 more day of action. For now though, it's time to celebrate the winners of Heat 2, and we'll certainly be doing that this evening. Hopefully all of you will join us for tomorrow's action as we wrap up the penultimate day here at Yas Marina and the Radical World Finals.